Carroll, bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still Davy Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never wanna let you go. 'Cause you started something, you see, that ever since we met you had a hold on me. It happens to be true. I only wanna be with you.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Ringing the Blues with me, Phil Catchpole, and a very hoarse Luke Leahy. On the show this week, we have all the action and reaction from the game against Shrewsbury Town on Saturday. Chairboys fan Jen Hill joins us on Till Death Us Do Part.
But first, let's head to Mexico City, the League One results.
We are ringing the blues from a very chilly and rainy Mexico City. It's me, Uri. And here are the results for League One. Blackpool 3, Carlisle United 0, Bristol Rovers 1, Cheltenham Town 1, Burton Albion 1, Stevenage 2, Charlton Athletic 2, Cambridge United 2, Exeter City 0, Port Vale 1, Leyton Orient 0, Derby County 3, Northampton Town 3, Fleetwood Town 0, Peterborough United 3, Oxford United 0, Reading 1, Barnsley 3, Wigan Athletic 0, Lincoln City 0, Wycombe Wanderers 0, Shrewsbury Town 1. So it's been no wins in 8 league games now for the Chairboys. So we all need some cheering up. Phil Catchpole is quoting a line from Jasper on the commentary about his number one artist on Spotify. And that line was, Michael Bublé is for life, not just for Christmas. So Chairboy Spanish this week, Michael Bublé, it's the same in Spanish, for life, de por vida, life, vida, for life, de por vida. Not just, no solo, for Christmas, para Navidad. Christmas, Navidad. So Michael Bublé is for life, not just for Christmas. Michael Bublé es de por vida, no solo para Navidad. That was Chairboy Spanish this week. Wish you in advance Merry Christmas, although we are 2 weeks away. Back to England with my amigo Filiberto Cachapollos. Adios, until next week.
Cheers, Uri. Magnificent as ever. Good evening to Alex T on the live stream and Ed as well. You can watch us and comment on this show on YouTube. We've just put the link up across all the Wycombe Wanderers socials. Right then, let's head back to Saturday. Shrewsbury Town were in action at Adams Park in League One. Jasper Patterson joined us on commentary, and here's what happened. Welcome to the Bill Turnbull gantry for live commentary of Wycombe Wanderers against Shrewsbury Town here in League One. Wycombe Wanderers looking for their first league win for a couple of months. Leahy's going to take this one. Flashes it in and it's tipped over by Morosi. Went for goal, Luke Leahy. Good effort, good save, and Wycombe have their first corner on the right wing now. He's got Phillips with him. Scowen's there as well. He's going to set Phillips on his way. Phillips now tries to get to Anderson and has done brilliantly. Phillips now inside the area, drills it low across the box. Wheeler gets there and chips it over the bar. Great stuff from Killian Phillips there. Yeah. Anderson's been pretty impenetrable so far, but Phillips breezed through him on the right wing. Left footed cross from Leahy. In it comes now. Morosi doesn't get there. Hits the bar. Oh, no.
He's given a foul.
And the referee's given something. It hit Grimmer and hit the bar. I'm not sure when the referee signalled an infringement. What a delivery by Leahy. The ball into the box today. We talked about the game against Morecambe and to certain degrees Reading as well. The quality in the final third sometimes wasn't the best from Wycombe Wanderers. And it's the ball in today has been a much higher quality, isn't it? Luke Leahy's left foot is a big addition to this team, isn't it? Perry goes for goal and scores! Shrewsbury from distance, a left-footed shot of Taylor Perry. He's back from injury and he's back with a bang. Left-footed strike from 23 yards past the diving Max Strick in front of those fans from Shrewsbury Town. And the all-important first goal has come to Shrewsbury. Wycombe 0, Shrewsbury Town 1. Out wide to Grimmer. Grimmer. Deliver. Cross comes in to the back post. It's a good one. It's headed up and out, but Sadlier comes in. It's being away by the keeper. The header from Sadlier. Vokes lurking on the rebound as well, but Shrewsbury clear it. Closest Wycombe have come for a little while.
Yeah, it's much better. Getting the ball into wide areas now. You can see we've committed men forward, especially with Lyle and Vokes in the box, and that's where the positions we need to get into.
Another ball by Grimmer just over the head of Vokes. Inches away from connecting with the striker's forehead. Two decent balls by Jack Grimmer there. And there goes the whistle. Wycombe Wanderers lose their 4th consecutive league game. 8 without a win now in the league for the Chairboys. And there's a few boos around Adams Park now as the fans head home. And the woes continue in the league for Wycombe Wanderers now. Gaffer, another disappointing day here at Adams Park.
Disappointing result, yes, but positive performance in my mind. We've had more passes in the opposition's half than in our own. We've camped in their half. We've had an XG of 1.77 to 0.27. We've been beaten by 1 shot on target the whole game from outside the box. 36 crosses. We started off with our usual shape, but felt that we needed to go to 4-2-3-1 to take one off the back line and put it further up the pitch, give us some more width, which we did. We rallied in the last 15 minutes. We had shots, crosses. We need to be more clinical in those areas, but in terms of performance, effort, commitment, the lads gave absolutely everything today. They left it all out there. I can't ask any more from them. It's the final touch that we need. I think we've known that recently. We've shown that recently when we've been dominating games like we have today. But in terms of performance level and everything we go after, I'm not pleased with the result, but the boys are giving everything. They're giving absolutely everything. And like I say, if you're talking about shots, XG, crosses, all the main points that go into winning performance, it was all there.
In terms of in front of goal, is it one of those situations where it just needs to go in, even if it's off someone's backside at this stage, just to get the ball rolling?
Maybe. I think that obviously on Tuesday evening, Dalo showed what a good finisher he is. You know, we've got some good attacking players in the club, but sometimes you don't get the rubber of the green. We need to be more clinical in those areas. I can state the obvious and say that, of course we do. We need to be more clinical. We need to take those opportunities when they arise. And that's the disappointing aspect of today. But like I say, we got beat 1-0 by a shot from 20 yards outside our box, their only shot on target. We've been camped in for the whole game. But ultimately we've lost, which is the most frustrating part.
Sam Vokes back in the squad and back on the pitch in that second half as well, a positive?
Yeah, he's only had a couple of days training, Vokes. He's obviously coming back off his injury, so we had to be careful with how long we used him for, but it's obviously a massive positive. We've got Leahy come back Tuesday evening, Vokesy come back today. We're hoping to welcome a couple more back in the next couple of weeks. The boys are getting themselves fit. We know we've had huge numbers of injuries, but one by one we're getting them back out in the grass and back out into some match action, and obviously Vokesy was a big positive coming on. I thought it had a big impact on the game, especially once we changed formation to utilise him a little bit more. So, yeah, big positive from having Sam back.
And there's options now at the back, with the return of Grimmer, Jacobson as well, and you went with experience today.
Yeah, I felt it was the right thing after the performance the boys put in on Tuesday evening, and we've limited them to one shot on target. We had the know-how back there to build, but we didn't want to just keep it in our own half. We wanted to play in the opposition's half, which the stats show we did. Like I say, we had more passes in the opposition's half than our own, so we were able to play forward. First half, we wanted to play into the wheels a bit more and get ourselves up the pitch. Obviously, we know Shrewsbury are a dominant team in the air in their back line, so we had to play through them a lot more, which we did second half. And we cut them open. G-Max come on and had a one-on-one. Sads had a chance. KP's had a couple. You know, to be fair, got to give them credit. They blocked shots and they put their heads on things, and they defended their goal extremely well. Goalkeepers made a couple of good saves. But we've created some good opportunities. Like I say, we were camped in their half and we kept knocking on the door, but unfortunately it didn't open today. Fans showing their frustrations at the end, some of them. Do you understand their viewpoint in the league form? Absolutely, of course. It goes without saying, those guys pay their money, they're entitled to their opinion, and on the back of the form that we've had, you're going to form an opinion, which is absolutely understandable. I totally understand. I'm in a results-based industry. Everything you do is judged on the results, and I totally understand their frustrations. Absolutely, I stand here and I give my honest assessment every week. When we do the press, I give my honest take on everything, and I have to be honest now. I said after Morecambe that it wasn't good enough. Tuesday evening we were very good, and today, apart from the final touch, I thought that there was lots of positives, and everything you see, the footage and the data all backs that up. So I can't question anything more from the players in terms of their commitment. I can't question anything more from the players in terms of their application. And we'll keep going. The thoughts there of Wycombe Wanderers manager Matt Bloomfield after that defeat on Saturday at Adams Park. Wycombe's fourth defeat in a row in the league. We didn't get a player interview after the game because we knew that Luke would be with us in the studio. Luke, your thoughts on it now? It's a few days later, so you get the benefit of having probably stewed on it for a few hours as well after the game. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it was a frustrating night. As you could tell by my voice, it was I was very frustrated at the end of the game, and I was just listening to the gaffer's highlights there about the game. He was bang on. Our performance levels were so much better than they have been in recent weeks, and we won the ball back in high areas. It was just that final touch, and I think that was the most frustrating thing, because there have been times this season where we haven't played well and probably we haven't deserved to get anything out of the game, but Saturday that really wasn't the case. It was we should have really won the game.
Now, as a player, you would have been through runs like this before in previous clubs, etc. Is it turning on one thing? Maybe is it maybe, as I mentioned to Matt in the interview, a goal that maybe comes off someone's backside or off a post or deflected, or an own goal even, just to get the momentum going? Can something like that change it? Yeah,
definitely. It like you say, if a ricochet or an own goal can get us in the lead or so. I think that's the biggest thing. If we took the lead in a game, I think we'd go on and score a few more and be assured at the back. But we just haven't had that at the minute, and I'm sure it will come. Like you say, I've been in this position plenty of times, and we've got the right group, we've got the right coach and staff to get back to where we want to be, and there's no better place than Derby County Saturday to put things right.
Absolutely. I sound a bit like a broken record some Saturdays, but this point I think was really valid on Saturday in League One, and especially against Shrewsbury with their scoring and defensive record. The first goal was absolutely imperative, wasn't it? And it went to Shrewsbury. It was a fabulous strike, but it went in, and it was a big part of the game, obviously.
Yeah, no, definitely. We said before that they don't score many, but they don't concede many either. So it was probably going to be a low-scoring game, and that was the case. And unfortunately for us, it was them that got the goal. And if it wasn't like a thing where they've opened us up and had a great bit of play and scored a goal or anything like that. It was a shot from 25 yards and it's gone in, and we responded really well as well. I think we could have put our heads down and not gone at it again, but we did, and we showed real togetherness and a lot of character. But it was just it was one of them nights where we couldn't get the goal.
We spoke on pre-match drills on Thursday about Shrewsbury being your former club. You were there, player of the season there last season. Now we've had the game and it was a narrow defeat. Did you feel that defeat keener than perhaps you would have done against a Reading or somebody else? Or first and foremost, it's just another defeat?
Yeah, no, it is just another game and another defeat. But I was disappointed to not win the game. I think you could tell by my voice that I was trying to do everything to get us to get a goal. But it was one of them. Looking back now, it was nice to see a few familiar faces and friends that I still speak to and peoples like that. So it was nice to see them, but disappointed to see them get on the coach with 3 points.
Well, as you know, here on Ringing the Blues, we find out what the opposition fans thought. So maybe some of your former friends in here, you featured heavily on the match highlights, and you feature once or twice in this week's Opposition View. Take it away, the Regional Access Department. Stuttgarter Shrew.
Well, we've done it again. Second best for the most part, hardly anything coming from town, and then we do them on the break. Found some space, no pressure coming, and a good strike from distance. Completely against the run of play. Wycombe had the most of the possession, second half, not as much as they had first half, but they struggled to create a clear-cut chance all game.
Camden Shrew.
Tremendous! Only our second away league win. First since August. And what a place to get it. Back to the wall stuff from what really is a threadbare squad.
Salop 18.
That's a really good win at a tough place to go. I'm starting to enjoy playing Wycombe away these days. Aaron Pierre was man of the match by some distance. Headed and blocked everything that came his way. Considering the amount of players we have out injured, the manager is doing a terrific job to have us in 11th place.
Mortgage Hounds.
Wycombe were the worst team I've seen this season.
Jammo.
I hate going to Wycombe. It's made slightly more palatable by that massive cock wobble Ainsworth no longer being associated with them. But it's a shished away day nevertheless. Anyway, it wasn't pretty, but at least we got the result. You can't question the effort and endeavour on days like today.
Sam Harvey.
Looking at that Wycombe team, it isn't half an ageing one. Keogh and Jacobson, both 37 at the back, and they brought on McCleary, Vokes and Lyle Taylor at 36, 34 and 33. Leahy, Phillips, how's that move worked out for you boys?
Pilch.
Get in. What an amazing performance. Take that, Luke Leahy. You should have signed for a big club.
Ivor 18.
I thought Luke Leahy showed a lot of class at the end, shaking the hands of all the Salop players and applauding the away fans.
Fido Nasher.
Wycombe are a club I've always maintained a very healthy dislike for, from the ghost goal to their theatrics and gamesmanship under the odious Ainsworth. Time moves on, but I still retain my bitterness.
Mark Petty.
League wins at Wycombe are now arriving like buses. That was absolutely outstanding town. I sense a growing belief in this squad, and Aaron Pierre is enjoying one of the greatest revivals since Elvis Presley's 1968 comeback special.
Oh, there we are, the thoughts of our friends from Shropshire. Luke, some of them still like you.
Yeah. No, that was funny. I don't mind that. That was good.
It's all part of the fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, what they were saying as well, the things about Wycombe, it's amazing how things stick around for so long. The Ainsworth ghost goal, the one that didn't exist, that Gareth headed, and then he became our manager and we won loads of times. But it's cyclical, isn't it, football? Eventually it comes around. But fans remember, they're like elephants, they never forget, do they?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, there's things there that were years and years ago, weren't they? But it's one of them. Fans are fans.
You did score against Wycombe, didn't you?
Yeah, that was last season. To win. So half of them things was a good thing about Shrewsbury for them, and then the rest were bad. So.
Well, the great thing about League One is we have to go there later in the season, so this is not over yet, is it?
Just send me that in April, and I'll show the lads, and I'm sure we'll get our own back.
There we are. Luke Leahy then is with us this evening. We'll be having a big chat with Luke about all things Wycombe and also some bigger things in the game as well. You can join in too on Twitter. You can find me at BluntPhil or at Wycombe Sound. You can join in. And also there's a comment section on the YouTube stream, which is the link we've put live as well. So you can put in messages there. And if you want to speak to Luke or ask Luke a question via me, then we can do so. But we'll be back after these.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Hello, darlings. Yes, it's me, Lavoie, and I'm delighted to be playing the glamorous landlady, Dame Peggy Pullum, in Beauty and the Beast at the Wycombe Swan from the 8th till the 31st of December. It's going to be a real Christmas cracker, starring Joe McFadden, Suzanne Shaw, John Clegg, and me, Lavoie. We've got fabulous comedy, stunning costumes, and a spectacular digital set. Although you'll all be looking at me anyway. Book your tickets now at wycombeswan.co.uk.
Tuesday evenings from 8. Chatsworth. Chat that's worth a listen with comedians.
I'm going to a pasty lecture. It discusses whether it was tin miners who held the crust in their hands and didn't eat it, so the rats would eat it, and then the rats would eat the tin, or was it the people in the fields and they put the jam on the crust so they had a pudding with their lunch? Who knows what it was? That's the first 10 minutes of the lecture.
I love the idea that people might have just tuned in now and have just said,
What is this? Colin, can I tell you something?
Please
this
do.
is the high for me. if I'd have known back then that all roads were leading to you, Colin, I would have lost my mind. I wouldn't have been able to focus.
I must congratulate you. You've reached the top.
Thank you.
And Colin.
If you do fancy a laugh on a Tuesday evening, I'll look forward to speaking to you then. Although due to the modern ways of listening, you can catch up anytime via the Listen Again feature on the website, wycombsound.org.uk. When you realise your dream, that's what it feels like.
When your dream realises you, Colin, that's what it is.
This is Wycombe Sound.
Welcome back to Ringing the Blues live from Wycombe Sound with me, Phil Catchpole, and our live studio guest and co-presenter this evening, Wycombe Wanderers player Luke Leahy. Luke, you've settled in now. You've had a few weeks off this because we've had a lot of Tuesday night games, haven't we?
Yeah, I've had quite a lot to be fair. Yeah, well, I haven't featured in them, but but yeah, no, it's nice to be back.
Great to see you back on the pitch. We need to address your injury as well because obviously the fans were there on the day. It was quite a harrowing thing to watch, but it's brilliant to see you back on your feet, and it's even better to see you out on the pitch. How are you doing? You had a headband on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that was just to do with my confidence, really. Probably, when heading it takes a little bit of the impact off my head. So, but yeah, I was just happy to be back out there doing what I do. It's been quite a tough couple of weeks, just trying to get back to being me, I suppose, but yeah, thankfully back to myself.
And when you were off the pitch, there was a game where you were able to thank the ambulance staff and the organisation that helped both you and Brandon Hanlon against that game against Stevenage by getting you to the local hospital. And there's a huge medical presence at football matches, and fans often don't get to see or appreciate that, which is a good thing because if you do see it, then you need it. But you needed it that day along with Brandon, and it was a brilliant thing to be able to do to raise some money and awareness for their work.
Yeah, definitely, and like you say, fans aren't aware, but I don't think players are as well, how much goes into them being there and what they have to do. I didn't really know until after obviously seeing them a few weeks ago at the Reading game, all the meetings they have to do, all the protocols and everything. So and yeah, it was nice to see the people there that helped me. So it was just something that I could give back, and I've donated my match fee from Saturday's game as well to them. So yeah, it was just a big thank you.
Fantastic. You seem to be a player, not just because you're here, you're interested in the media, you do this, you did the podcast for BBC Shropshire when you were at Shrewsbury. When you had that game off, you've gone and worked out and found out what happens on a medical setup and all the bits in there. As a player, is this something you're really interested in, about everything around the industry that is football?
Not really. I just think it's probably showing fans a different side, and people that only see you at 3:00 on a Saturday or Tuesday night game, and you're angry and you're in your football zone. So I just want people to see sort of the other side of me, and I think it's been a real benefit to me, especially coming here and settling in and meeting everyone on a different level.
And what you like as a player who can't play and watching, because often I speak to players in the commentary box and they always say it's one of the most frustrating things when you can't have any action on the pitch.
Yeah, I hated it. I was really nervous before the games, and I was up and down, heading everything, and kicking every ball. I didn't enjoy it, and I think I haven't been used to that. I've not really had a very serious injury in my career, and them 4.5 weeks were the longest I've ever been out in my career. So it was all new to me, and I didn't like it. It made me even more desperate to get back on the pitch.
Was it also a bit of an indication of, this is, no one knows what's going to happen in life, and football as well, you're one tackle away or one injury away from maybe not being able to play again, which sounds like quite a horrible thing to say, but some players would have experienced that at different levels of their career. Does it show you that side of it, or maybe make you appreciate it more when you get back out there? Yeah, definitely. I think, like with mine as well, I could have knocked into Scully a split second later and I would have been all right. It's just, you like you say, you don't really know what's around the corner, and I just think, obviously my health's good and everything, and I'm back to doing what I do, and I'm just glad to be out there. And I sort of haven't enjoyed a game back yet. I've been more nervous than excited, so I'm looking forward to just getting back and enjoying football rather than being nervous of what's going to happen. And now you know what the opposition feel like when Josh Scowen goes in on a 50-50, don't you? Yeah, he's so tiny. I don't know how he's not my head, but no, yeah, it was obviously it was an accident, and I was back in midfield with him Saturday, so that was the main thing. You've played all the positions pretty much, I think, bar goalkeeper now. Yeah. We've got a lot of injuries, so I guess a player like you from out Bloomfield is absolutely invaluable. So he must be delighted to have you back. Yeah, I think so. I think I've done it all my career, really, just played different positions, and I sort of. I watch a lot of football anyway, so I watch a lot of positions and just go from there. And I think it's helped me sort of become a better player, and it helps the team that I'm in, I suppose. And I'm sure it's going to happen again this season where I'm playing a different position. And as long as I'm on the pitch, I don't really care what position it is. And in terms of that, the leadership group, the sort of the senior players, because we obviously had a lot of transition at Wycombe in the summer. We're in a bad run. As a group of players, the manager and his staff will be doing all they can to set the team up to win matches. What do you do as players? Do you kind of have your conversations away as well and think, how do we get out of this? Yeah, we've had conversations, a few of us, experienced senior lads, and it's more to do with just maintaining the standards, not letting anything drop because results aren't going our way. It's like you say, we've got to maintain our standards, and if it hits someone on the backside, then brilliant. And but yeah, we've had chats, and they've not been bad chats. It's just to make sure the lads are okay, and like I say, make sure the standards don't drop because things aren't going our way. You say that about bad chats, but you all care so much, and you see each other, shout at each other on the pitch, and all that. But it's all that communication, isn't it? And it's all part of the game. Yeah, all that shouting on the pitch is just, it's just because we want to do the best, and we know how good we can be, and it never, comes away off the pitch. It always stays on the pitch. So I think that's the biggest thing. We demand a lot from each other, but off the pitch, it's a great group, and we've just got to stick together and like I say, maintain the standards, but demand it from each other, and results will turn. Good evening to Benjamin, who joined us from Adams Park. He's based in Germany, but he was at the game on Saturday. Benjamin, hope you had a great time at Adams Park. Sorry about the result, but hopefully the experience was a good one. And I know you're a keen watcher on Wanderers TV as well. You'll be watching on Saturday, no doubt, as we head to Derby County, who've won 5 in a row. But League One is that sort of division, Luke, where I look at that, I think Wycombe have lost 4 in a row in the league. Derby have won 5 in a row. It's a sort of division where we can maybe go and cause a bit of an upset there. Yeah, no, I agree. And, like I say, there's no better place to go and silence 30,000 fans, and we'll have a game plan and in a way to frustrate them and get 3 points, and just fingers crossed at 5 o'clock we've managed to do it, and I think as well everyone probably outside of our change room would expect us to go there and get beat. So there's no pressure on us, and we can play our game, but within them 4 walls of that dressing room, there is an expectation to go and win. It's a massive club. You've mentioned the amount of fans that will be there. You strike me as a player that enjoys winding people up. You enjoy winding other fans up, other opposition players. The fact that there's just more of them, does that just add to the general excitement for you on that, or do you get nervous with bigger crowds, or does it fuel the fire for you? No, I enjoy it. I think these are sort of, in League One, these are the stadiums you want to be playing at. All these fans there, and a chance to silence them and go away with our fans celebrating at the end of the game. So hopefully we can do that and enjoy. And yeah, fantastic stadium. It's graced the Premier League, a club now that's on the up again under Paul Warne. The run of form, obviously there's been decent results for them and passages of play for us to look at, but equally they were struggling at times earlier in the season as well. Every team seems to have these sort of runs, don't they?
Yeah, like you said, they were struggling at a certain point in the season, and they've turned it around, so there's no reason why we can't, and I'm sure we will. And like I said to someone earlier on, we'll have our bad run now, get it out the way, and then finish the season strong come the end of April.
And Wycombe Wanderers with a few players in the injury room. You've now departed the injury room, which is great,
Yeah.
but there's a few more now edging closer to the door as well. And it was great to see Vokesy back out on the pitch second half on Saturday too. He's going to be a big player for us, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. It was good to see him. I was rehabbing with him, so it was good to see him back out. And there's, like you say, there's a few more coming back to sort of help us and put us in a stronger position. But injuries is part of football. A lot of teams have injuries. It's how you deal with it, and we've got the right group to kick on and like you say, win the game Saturday, hopefully.
Good evening to David Alderman. He messages in saying, Luke, how do you unwind after a game? Do you analyse the game or do you concentrate your mind on other things?
I do a bit of both, really. I'd watch the game back probably as soon as I get it, as soon as it's sent through, just to watch it back and see if there was anything that...
Is that on the same day as the game?
Whenever it gets sent through, yeah. I could be thinking, like, so many things happen in the game where... And then you remember it, and then it's like, yeah, that happened, and then you watch it, and it's like completely different to how you remember it. So that's probably... I watch it, pretty soon after, so I have a clear mind of how it was, and I have a little boy, so, he takes it off. He takes a lot of my time as well, so I sort of manage him quite easily.
They say a good night's sleep is the best thing for physical recovery as well. But sometimes, I sometimes get a bit down about things or whatever. And you go to bed, have a good night's sleep, and then the next day everything feels a bit better. Is that the same mentally as well?
No, I wouldn't say. No, I'd still wake up and I'd still think about the result in the game. But I think with League One football, especially EFL football, you can't dwell on it too long because there's another game in 72 hours or on the Saturday, so you can't dwell on it too much. But I think it's good to watch it back and analyse and see where we can improve, and that's even if we win a game. So yeah.
Right, I was at Tottenham Newcastle on Sunday, and I was interested. I want to talk to you about player form and the role in a manager, because Richarlison, I was at Spurs, sold out crowd in the Spurs end, and there was a lot of discontent when Richarlison was named as the striker. He scored twice. He's not had the best time at Tottenham, but the manager's been very supportive in the press, and also we don't get to see what he's like in training. But if you're a player who is struggling a bit with form and confidence, how important is that role of the management and the coaching staff, and what are their tactics to bring the best out of a player? What's your experience of that with your teammates elsewhere or wherever?
Yeah. No, I think, like you say, the manager sees him train every day, and the fans probably only see him for 90 minutes each game, obviously, so that manager sees how much probably hard work he's putting in, and these boys are top level, so they'll be doing everything right, and the manager made a decision, and obviously it's paid off for Postecoglou and Richarlison. So, but as well, I think as teammates as well, you could put your arm around him and say, come on, you're good enough, you've been signed by this football club for a reason, and just hope that he does what he did on Sunday.
Is it equally as well the management role about understanding the sort of the traits of a player, what they respond to better? Is it an arm round the shoulder, or is it a telling off or difference or more information? Is every player different?
Yeah, every player is different. You could have one that needs an arm around the shoulder, like you said, or you could have one that needs kick up the backside. Players react to different situations and different sort of tone of voices. So I think it's the manager has to quickly suss out of how that individual is, and I'm sure they'll do the right thing.
Have you been booed by your own fans in the past? Or have you heard other players be booed?
A few times. Yeah.
How does that feel?
They pay their money, don't they? They have every right to form an opinion, and it's just if the person's mentally strong enough, you go there and say, I'm going to prove you wrong. So that's my mentality anyway.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see the psychological side of what's going on in football.
I think as well, the thing with football is you could get booed on a Saturday, and then another game's around the corner, you could score the winner and you're the best player again. So, you know, you can never take things too seriously, I think.
We saw that in the David Beckham documentary on Netflix. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I mean, literally on the front page of every single national newspaper after his red card against Argentina, and he fought the clock a few seasons, and he's the guy that the last minute free kick that gets England to the World Cup, and he's a national hero again. So it does seem that this sort of building up of peaks and troughs of players seems to be the narrative. Maybe just this country. I'm not sure if other countries do that too. But.
No, I'm sure every player's been through it. If you ask any player, he's been through it in his career, where you just get probably certain clubs where it doesn't suit you, or you can't find your best form, and then, you know, next season you go to a different club and you perform at a standard where you think you should be. So I think it's part and parcel of football. And if you're mentally strong and you've got good people around you, then, you know, it won't affect you that much.
Now, one of the other big talking points in the game happened in Turkey over the last few days. A club chairman punching a referee after his team conceded an injury time equaliser. The Turkish FA have suspended all football from all levels here to address this situation. Obviously, it's incredibly awful scenes to see. It shouldn't be happening. But it does open up the conversation to referees. In the Premier League, we're seeing them under intense scrutiny through VAR. We're seeing the VAR referees now getting the same. Obviously, in League One, we don't have VAR, but you know, they're human beings. They're making mistakes as well. As a player, it must be frustrating when they go against you too. But without the referees, we don't have a game. Have we got a problem here in the game worldwide that we need to address in terms of respect with referees for fans and players?
Yeah, especially in that incident in Turkey, I think, you know, whoever was it, the president that has suspended all football. Yeah, I think that's the best case. I think it has to show that these things can't happen. I've done it plenty of times where the decision's not gone the team's way, and you're angry and you shout and all that, but I've never thought to run and punch one. So yeah, no, it was terrible scenes, and you know, referees do. You know, I think it's one of the hardest jobs in football because everything's so quick, and you need to make a split decision, and you sort of can't, especially in our league, you can't sort of go back on a decision that, you know, even if you think it's wrong. So yeah, I do think it's tougher, but I think with VAR as well, I think that's more frustrating because they get to watch it again and again, and sometimes they still make the wrong decision. Whereas, you know, in our league, it is just, you know, sometimes it's just human error, and you can accept that.
Do you think it evens itself out over a season?
It better.
That's a great answer. Yeah. When these discussions happen and people sit around tables and talk about it, they often say, oh, the referees, they don't know the game, they didn't play. And then someone says, yes, we need more former players to become referees. Is that something you've ever considered, Luke?
No, I don't think so. You never know. I've done everything else in football. So no, I don't know. I just think it's such a tough job. I think the amount of times I've shouted at a referee throughout my career, I think it would be very wrong of me to become a referee after.
Now, I know that this law changed a few years ago, but it's now team captains are able to talk to the referee throughout on behalf of their team. That's to kind of cut down a lot of the surroundings of referees as well. You've worn the captain's armband at Wycombe, you wore it at Shrewsbury. Do you feel that responsibility? Do you have that capacity then to convey the frustrations of your teammates? And how do you go about it?
Yeah, I think it's difficult because like I was captain last year, wasn't I? So you speak to the referees quite a lot, you get to know them, and you can approach them. Whereas this season, because I'm not captain, I'll still speak to them in a way because I've had that sort of relationship with them before. But I do think it's right. Like, captains should be the only people that approach him. It's very difficult at times because, you know, a decision might not go your way. But I think it has changed in the season though, because at the start of the season it was even if you just walked to the referee, you were getting booked. Whereas I think they've sort of gone quite lenient more with it now. Which I'm not sure about, but yeah, there was some silly bookings earlier on the season, wasn't there, for little touches of the ball away. And I remember the one at Exeter in the first game of the season where the boys just sort of rolled it with his foot and he got booked. But yeah, I think, like I say, it's the hardest one of the hardest jobs in football. But we have to respect them because, like you say, there'll be no game without referees.
Those bookings seem to have stopped. The minutes added on at the end of halves and games seems to have come back down to a normal level. Is that because behaviour has changed, or because it's just settled down after the initial sort of fanfare at the start of the season? I
think it's that because nothing's changed. We've not been told anything. Whereas like that, they're happy with behaviour, so we're going to go back to how it was. I'm not sure. Like, I think if that game Saturday was in August and September, we would have had 12, 13 minutes added on. But for some reason, we had 4, and the gaffer got booked, didn't he, because of that, and that's the frustrating thing. Yeah.
Well, Luke, we're going to give you a voice of rest now. We've got some ads coming up, and after that we hear from Jen Hill, who is this week's subject on Till Death Us Do Part. But more from Luke later on.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still on the fence about college? Well, the possibilities are endless at Bucks College Group. At our open events, you can explore our inspiring campuses in Aylesbury, Wycombe and Amersham. Chat to our tutors, discover how to develop your future career and check out the facilities. And with over 40 subjects, we're not just any college, we're your college. Chat, explore and discover. Search Bucks College Group now.
Mondays from 7.
Hey, it's Rebecca, and I'm here to let you know that you can catch me every single Monday with a brand new music show between 7 and 8 p.m. I'll be bringing you some of the latest and freshest sounds, and you do not want to miss it. So come and join me every Monday, 7 till 8 p.m. here on Wycombe Sound.
This is Wycombe Sound.
Right, it's Till Death Us Do Part. That's where we speak to Wycombe fans from all over the world and in Bucks as well. But this time we're going overseas. Now, football's like a marriage. It's for life, for richer, for poorer, for better, for worse, etc., etc. And this week we have Jen Hill. Jen, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good.
What's your Wycombe Wanderers story? When did you first get involved with the mighty Chairboys?
Oh, blimey. Lokes Park days, really. We lived along Suffield Road, so we used to go down with my mum and dad when we were probably 7 or 8 years old. Weren't really interested in the football. We used to just spin round and round and round on the sort of bars around the back of the goal. But really, when Wycombe went to Wembley in 91 was the first time that I really got bitten by the bug. It was around my 11th birthday. I had a sleepover, and we spent most of the time at the sleepover colouring in flags and things. Went to Wembley, won, and that was it really. Once you win at Wembley, you can't really escape. So went again in 93 and again in 94, and sadly haven't seen them win at Wembley since. But again,
not in the flesh, at least.
Not yeah. We will do one day soon, I'm sure.
Suffield Road, so you were essentially a goal kick from the action. You're a bit further away these days normally, aren't you?
Yeah. I live in Abu Dhabi now. I've been there for 8 years. And although I moved away from Wycombe in 1998 when I went to university, I still used to do stupid drives backwards and forwards. I was in Nottingham on a course once, and I drove down on a Tuesday night to watch a Tuesday game, and then I drove back up the next night after the game for the next day of the course. So yeah, we were put on, when we were younger, we were put on a bus on a Sunday morning for an away game at Gateshead. My sister and I were put on a bus at God only knows what time, probably 8 o'clock in the morning. And my parents had a lovely Sunday. We had gone off to Gateshead with a load of strangers, watched a game, came back. I think it was a Rumbelows Cup final was shown in the bus on the way back. And then we got home. They had a lovely day, so did we. But it was very cold. It was very cold. I remember that. So yeah,
If it's a Rumbelows final, it's probably springtime, but still freezing in Gateshead, obviously.
Yeah, I think it was February, March time, something like that. Yeah. But have been all over. Went to Dublin and watched them play over there when they had pre-season games, and yeah, probably a little bit obsessed, to be fair.
So what's match day like in Abu Dhabi? Are you watching on Wanderers TV? I'm presuming the weather's not quite so cold for those games.
No, so I tend to take my iPad down to the local and sit in and have a couple of beers and watch the football in the local, and there's a collection of local gentlemen that come and sit round behind me, and I'm starting to build up a bit of a following. Is that your Wycombe Wanderers again? Yes, that's them. So starting to get people to look out for the results. So got to spread the word a bit. And I've also got a 40th birthday shirt that I had given to me by my parents for my 40th that has been framed and put up in the local with a picture of the promotion win inside, put them at the bottom. So that's framed and in a pub in Abu Dhabi. So if anybody's around and about and goes into Victor's, you will see a Wycombe Wanderers shirt up framed on the wall.
Fantastic. I love seeing stuff like that when I'm on my travels. I think it sort of connects you to home straight away, but also, as you say, spreads the word, the wonderful quarters going out everywhere. Right, let's get stuck into the feature then. We start with something old, and that's your best ever Wycombe Wanderers memory. And from our brief chat already, I know this is going to be a tough choice.
So I've been umming and ahhing about this. Whatever decision I make, it's going to involve Jason Cousins, because quite frankly, he's the greatest man to ever have pulled on the quarters, I think. It was a bit of a toss-up between his tackle, and I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure that's something we should be celebrating, but I think it really showed the mettle of the man. But I've actually gone for an event that he was involved with, again linked to my birthday. So we've gone back to the 15th of the 5th, 1995. And we've gone to the Evening Standards five-a-side football tournament.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, what an event that was. So for the 2 years we won it, it fell around my birthday, and me and the family sat on the sofa, and Chuck Musadik was in goal, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And we called it the Lucky Chucky sofa. And it's just one of those memories that stuck, to the point where we were cheering so loudly, the neighbours came and knocked the door and asked if everything was all right. So yeah, there's been lots of really good memories watching Wycombe, but that was just pure joy. It was something different, and to see the first team players playing in that five-a-side tournament was awesome. Loved it.
It summed up Wycombe Wanderers of that era, didn't it? Because any competition, no matter what it was, they were out to win it. And I think the player that epitomises winning spirit and mettle, to use your word, Jason Cousins. Wow, I mean, I met him the other year, and I was still terrified.
Yeah, he was my idol. He really was. From the first moment he got there, he was the player that I just adored. And to the point where my sister bought me a Wycombe Wanderers mouse mat for work. I've got little bits of Wycombe all over Abu Dhabi, but that's got two and Cousins on my mouse mat, and people come in and go, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's not a first team player anymore, but he's Mr. Wycombe for me." I know that's Matty Bloomfield, but Jace was the original. I was thinking about I think it was Leyton Orient in the cup. We went to penalties, and he was prowling up and down on the 18-yard box, not watching the penalties go in. Just Wycombe. He's just awesome. I loved him so much, about everything, all his passion. He never gave in, and he was just unreal.
We could do a whole show on Jason Cousins.
I could.
Imagine that. Well, you'd listen, definitely.
Definitely. God, if we got him on, I'd be there. Brilliant. No problem.
During the pandemic, we rewatched the Liverpool FA Cup semi-final, and there's some absolute classic Cousins in that, because he completely destroys Michael Owen on more than one occasion. And there's one where Owen's gone for a dive in the penalty area, and Jace has picked him up by the scruff of his neck in front of 20,000 Wycombe fans, saying, "How very dare you," or words to that effect. And I just loved him for that.
Yeah, I remember when we played Leicester in the quarter-final, was it? And when we scored, he came belting down the sideline, and that's where we were, and he was like, "Yeah!" And I could have run with him. Just the passion from him, just the desire to not be beaten was brilliant. Not necessarily not to like to win, but just do not get beaten. He was just awesome.
Right, we're going to do a Jason Cousins show, because we've not even mentioned the fence at Wembley when he scored against Runcorn. I mean, that was a beautiful moment too. But I'm making a note, Jen, in my notebook, a Jason Cousins special on Ringing the Bell. He doesn't like football these days, so it could be a challenge, but we'll try our very best.
I know he's a taxi driver, was he?
he now is a high-end sort of chauffeur. So
Is he?
maybe save up and maybe get him to pick you up when you're flying from Abu
That would
Dhabi
be
one day.
ace. Oh yes, mate. Absolutely. I'd just take him back with me. I would.
Last scene heading towards Jen's house.
Yes,
There we are.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right then, on to something new. This is bringing it up to the current day. Your favourite member of the current Wycombe Wanderers squad.
So this is tricky, but I think going down the passion sort of wanting desire not to lose again and putting it all in, I've gone for Gareth McCleary. And part of the reason is he's just so cool. Isn't he cool? He just looks cool all the time. Whether it's in his suit getting out of the car or, his trackies wandering around the track, he's just very cool looking. He seems like a really nice guy. And on the pitch, he just runs and runs and runs. And, he's not, he helps the average age up a little, shall we say. But you wouldn't know it by the performances he puts in.
I've always wanted to see his passport because I don't believe he's as old as the internet tells us he is, because he runs around like a much younger man.
He certainly does. He's very, very fit. He looks after himself and he takes every opportunity to show everybody as well, which I also enjoy.
I was going to say, the shirt, we can't not talk about Gareth McCleary and mention the fact that the shirt is off. I think he's on this feature that's put him ahead in terms of votes, in terms of the current players. Someone else on this feature said he should be the next James Bond. I'm sure you'd agree with that too.
Oh, yeah, I'd be quite happy with that. Imagine him as James Bond and Jace as a baddie. That would be awesome.
What a film that would be. Set in Sands.
Oh, God. The bottom of the industrial estate. There's no escape. There's no exit route. You've just got to get back up that road.
Well, it's all done. We've written it. We'll send in your titles for this new Bond film, because I can't wait to see it. Right, let's moving on. Let's go on now to something borrowed. Now, this could be your favourite ever loanee at Wycombe, or player that we should have signed, no matter how controversial that we should have signed, in your opinion. Who's it to be?
So I was thinking about this, and one player that I'm always really proud that pulled on the Wycombe shirt and then made me look out for his sort of career afterwards was Stephen Taylor, that we got from Newcastle. But I can't quite believe, but every bit of information I find on the internet says that, how many appearances did he make for us?
I think it was something like 8 or something like that. Yeah.
6, yes, 6 appearances. But he feels like he had a much bigger impact than that. And he, again, this is probably the same thing coming along. Once he pulled the shirt on, he wasn't bothered. He was just not going to get beaten. And I remember a game at Adams Park. We were up in the big stand for some reason. And just the passion and the tackles that he put in, he was a really... I can't quite believe it was only 6 games. I think he had a bigger impact than that. And I think, he's gone on. And I think he went off, and apparently he's been a manager in the UAE, which has all gone full circle. So how bizarre. So yeah, Stephen Taylor's certainly somebody that had a big impact on his loan period, I think.
I love that about this suggestion, because, like you say, 6 games, but you really remember certain things, don't you, that stick with you. And I guess it was the real quality of him as well, and his attitude straight away. I think Marcelo Trotter, albeit as a striker, has scored lots of goals, but as a defender to have 6 games and make this mark, because you're not alone, Jen. I know a lot of people talk very highly about Stephen, but it just shows you the mark of the player, doesn't it? And he's obviously gone on and kicked on. And he couldn't have done it without us, obviously.
No, absolutely. Once you've played at Adams Park, then that's it. Your whole career's ahead of you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the big learning curve, the finishing school of football for the youngsters.
Absolutely.
And right then, this takes us on to something blue. Now, this could either be your favourite ever piece of Wycombe Wanderers merchandise, or an idea for the club to sell in the club shop and make lots of money for the club.
So I don't know if I've made this up. I don't know. Maybe it was a hooky one. But I seem to remember a Wycombe Wanderers gnome that I had in the mid-noughties.
Yeah, I think they did exist. Yeah.
They did, didn't they? So, I think my Wycombe Wanderers gnome, sadly, it got left in a garden of a house that I lived in Milton Keynes. So I Yeah, I might pop back and see if it's still in the garden, actually.
Needs
and see if
rescuing
I can
from there,
rescue it.
definitely.
Yeah, I used to live around the corner from Dean Lewington.
Oh.
Yeah, sadly, used to come across him in the local occasionally. But yeah, so I think my gnome is sitting in a garden in Milton Keynes. The other thing my sister suggested was Battenberg cake we should sell in quarters.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. I've not heard that before.
Yeah, in the if we get a cafe or, we should be able to sell slices of Battenberg cake, light blue and dark blue.
That is a fantastic suggestion. Right, that's in the notebook as well. Fantastic. I like this.
Terry for that. That wasn't my idea. That was my sister.
Well, it's a family affair. This is good.
Exactly.
Battenberg cake in the quarters. I like that a lot. That's fantastic. Jen, you're back from Abu Dhabi for Christmas, so you'll be able to see your beloved Chairboys in the flesh. You're going to get some games?
Yeah, we've just bought tickets for the Exeter away game. My parents live up in Yorkshire, so sadly none of us are anywhere near Wycombe anymore. But we are going to go to the Exeter game. And possibly might just jump in the car and turn up at another one, just if I've got nothing better to do. Just for
Exeter to Yorkshire, that's quite a commute.
Yeah, on the 27th of December. Cannot wait.
26th, Boxing Day.
Well, we're staying over after the game, so we are going to at least stay over after the game and then drive back.
I wouldn't want it to go that way and miss the game.
No.
Well, actually, on the way back, you could maybe, under the cover of darkness, nip in through Milton Keynes and get your gnome back.
If I could rescue my gnome back, that's a great idea.
I'm very wired for this gnome for some reason. It's sort of taken over my thoughts.
So none of the players fancied a Christmas in Abu Dhabi then?
I'm sure they'd be more than happy to pop out if you extended an invite. Was it Victor's Bar? I think they'd love to go and see your shirt, maybe.
Yeah, Victor's has got my shirt up, and there's a mini kit in the back of a car driving around Abu Dhabi and Dubai as well. So
fantastic.
Yeah, spreading the word.
Wycombe fans, if you're in Abu Dhabi during the season, head to Victor's. You won't be alone. There'll be another Chairboys fan in there, which is great to hear. Jen, have a great Christmas. Many thanks for taking part in the feature, and enjoy the game at Exeter. Fingers crossed. It's a big 3 points for the Chairboys.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
All right, good luck getting that gnome back, Jen. We're all with you. Right, it's the end of another fantastic show of Ringing the Blues here live on Wycombe Sound. Luke, many thanks for your company this evening.
Thank you.
And you've got a guest as well, because we did some pre-recording before the show, didn't we? We've got a big show coming up on Radio Christmas in Amersham with Harry, the Wycombe fan. So Harry's done a brilliant interview with Luke, which you can hear hopefully on Radio Christmas before the big day. So yeah, Harry, great for you to pop in today as well and sit in on tonight. Luke, all the best for Saturday.
Thank you.
Safe travels to Derby.
You too.
Big 3 points, hopefully.
Yeah, let's hope so, mate.
And then we're back at home again 2 days before Christmas for Port Vale, and then we do it all again later on. Fast and furious over Christmas. As ever, come on you Blues. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back on Saturday for that trip to Derby. Here's Dusty.